There are moments in sports when everything changes in an instant. A single absence, a single injury, a single name missing from the lineup, and suddenly, a championship dream begins to collapse. Tonight, that moment belonged to Jason Tatum. The Boston Celtics stepped onto the floor for Game 7, the biggest game of their season, without their best player. No Tatum, no safety net, no identity. On the other side, Joel Embiid delivered 34 points. Tyrese Maxey added 30. And just like that, the Celtics were gone. But this story isn't about one team. It's about a question that has haunted basketball for generations. What happens when a contender loses its star? At the moment it matters most? Because history doesn't just whisper the answer, it screams it. You're watching The Sports Verdict Daily, where we break down the biggest stories in American sports every single day and give you the final call. Let's get into it. The night everything shifted. Boston was supposed to win this game. They had home court, they had momentum, they had belief. But they didn't have Tatum. And in that absence, you could feel something unravel. Possession slowed, confidence faded, the rhythm gone. The Celtics still had talent, still had depth, still had options, but none of it felt the same. Because in the NBA, not all talent is equal. There are players who contribute, and then there are players who define everything. Tatum wasn't just Boston's best scorer, he was their system, their structure, their gravitational force, and when that force disappeared, the entire game tilted. The 76ers didn't just win, they took advantage of something deeper, something structural. Because this wasn't just about execution, this was about dependency. And once that dependency was exposed, the outcome started to feel inevitable. So the pattern hidden in history, if you step back from this moment, you begin to see a pattern, one that repeats over and over again. In the NBA playoffs, losing your best player isn't just a setback, it's a collapse waiting to happen. Championship teams are built on elite talent, and elite talent is irreplaceable. Time after time, teams that lose their star fall. Not because they stop trying, but because the margin for error disappears. And yet, there are exceptions. Rare, unusual, almost unnatural. In 2019, the Toronto Raptors pushed through adversity. Their star was playing through injury, limited, worn down. But the system held. Multiple players stepped forward. The structure remained intact. And they won. In 2004, the Detroit Pistons did something even more radical. They eliminated the idea of a superstar entirely. No single player carried them. Instead, they built identity, defense, cohesion, a machine, not a hierarchy. And that machine proved unstoppable. Even the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers tell this story. But in reverse, a year earlier, injuries shattered them in the finals. They learned, they adapted, they rebuilt, not just around talent, but around resilience. And when the moment returned, they were ready. So what do all these teams have in common? They weren't built on one player. They were built to survive without one. And that changes everything. The three archetypes of NBA teams. To understand why some teams collapse and others endure, you need to see the league differently, because not all contenders are created equal. There are three archetypes, three distinct ways teams are built. The first, star-dependent teams. These teams orbit around one player. Every possession flows through them. Every decision is shaped by them. When that player is present, everything works. When they're gone, everything breaks. Boston belongs here, and history tells us this model is powerful but fragile. The second, system teams. These teams operate differently. They don't rely on a single force. Instead, they rely on structure, movement, discipline, identity. Players can step in, step out, adjust, because the system remains constant. Teams like the 2004 Pistons or the 2014 Spurs didn't need one star, they needed execution. And that made them resilient. The third, hybrid teams. This is where things get interesting. These teams combine both worlds. They have a star, a clear leader, but they also have depth, flexibility, structure. They can lean on greatness, but they're not defined by it. The 2019 Raptors lived here. The 2016 Cavaliers evolved into it. And this is where championships are most often won. Because in the playoffs, talent wins games, but resilience wins series, and survival wins championships. Which brings us back to Boston. They weren't built for survival, they were built for dominance, and those are not the same thing. The present reality of the 2026 playoffs. Now look at the team still standing, and suddenly, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. The Oklahoma City Thunder, a system-first team, disciplined, balanced, adaptable. They've already shown they can function without everything going perfectly. And now, they face the Lakers, a team defined by something entirely different. The Los Angeles Lakers are not structured. They are surviving. Through injuries, through absence, through chaos. And yet, they advance. Because sometimes, experience becomes its own system. Then there's San Antonio, young, unpredictable, but deeper than expected. Even when Victor Wembanyama was sidelined temporarily, they didn't disappear. They adapted. And Philadelphia? They just eliminated Boston. But their real test hasn't come yet. Because the question isn't whether they can win, it's whether they can survive without Joel Embiid. And history suggests that's where everything changes. So now, the playoffs become something else entirely. Not just a competition of talent, but a test of structure, a test of identity, a test of who can endure when the game takes something away. At the start of these playoffs, we asked a simple question: can a team win a championship without its best player? Tonight, we got the answer. Not in theory, not in analysis, but in reality. Boston showed us the truth. They couldn't. But the deeper truth is even more important, because this isn't just about losing a star. It's about how you prepare for that possibility. The teams that build systems survive. The teams that build only around greatness risk everything. The Celtics built around Jason Tatum. The Thunder built something bigger than any one player. And now, only one of those philosophies is still alive. In the end, championships aren't just won by the best teams. They're won by the teams that can survive when they stop being whole. That's the Sports Verdict. If you made it this far, you already know what to do. Subscribe to the Sports Verdict Daily, hit the bell, and you'll get the final call on every major story in sports, every single day. And now I want to hear from you. Can any team win a championship without their best player? Or is the title race already decided the moment a star goes down? Drop your take in the comments. I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, next verdict.